Zimbabwe produced billionaires, empire builders, risk takers. Some lost everything. This is how they really made their money. In the next 10 minutes, we reveal 10 Zimbabweans who built extraordinary wealth and the exact moves that made it possible. One fought the government in court for 5 years and won. One built an empire that the state eventually seized. And one became Zimbabwe's first dollar billionaire. A note before we begin. These rankings are based on estimated peak wealth. Exact figures across different eras are impossible. But the stories, those are undeniable. Number 10. A man who broke a colonial monopoly and then watched it all collapse. Roger Boka. For decades, Zimbabwe's tobacco auction floors were controlled by white-owned firms. Boka refused to accept that. He built his own, the first black-owned tobacco sales floor in the country's history. He founded United Merchant Bank. At his peak, he was Zimbabwe's most celebrated black entrepreneur. Then in 1998, UMB collapsed under catastrophic losses. Boka died in 1999. The empire gone. Number 9. A man who turned showmanship into a real estate empire. Philip Chiyangwa, the most flamboyant tycoon Zimbabwe ever produced. Chiyangwa built Pinnacle Holdings into one of Harare's most prominent property empires. Reported to be worth $280 to $400 million at his peak, he lived the part. Rolls-Royces, penthouses, bold pronouncements. He also served as a ZANU-PF Member of Parliament and led ZIFA, Zimbabwe's football federation, and COSAFA. Power in boardrooms, power in parliament, power on the pitch. Number 8. A World Bank officer who came home, built a conglomerate, and had it taken. Mutumwa Mawere, one of Zimbabwe's most dramatic business stories. In 1994, Mawere returned to Zimbabwe from the World Bank. He executed a leveraged buyout of the Shabani and Mashaba asbestos mines and used that foundation to build SMM Holdings, one of the country's largest ever conglomerates. Mining, manufacturing, banking, insurance, transport. Mawere had built it all. Then in 2004, the Zimbabwean government specified his assets and seized control of SMM, a landmark business dispute that shocked the continent. Number 7. Trucks, cobalt mines, bioethanol, and 3 continents of controversy. Rautenbach. Rautenbach built Wheels of Africa into one of the continent's largest transport and logistics empires. Then he moved into the Katanga copper-cobalt belt of the DRC, among the richest mineral deposits on the planet. He also launched Zimbabwe's Chisumbanje ethanol project, green fuel, one of Africa's largest. He was placed on US and EU sanctions lists, facing allegations he denied. He was later delisted, estimated peak worth over $500 million. Number 6. The man reshaping Harare's skyline, one skyscraper at a time. Ken Sharpe. Through Westprop Holdings and Auger Investments, Sharpe bankrolled landmark Harare developments, Pomona City, Millennium Heights, Pokugara. A property portfolio reported at $500 million to $1 billion. He is literally building the Harare of tomorrow. Number 5. The only woman on this list, and she didn't inherit a thing. Divine Ndhlukula, who built Zimbabwe's largest private security empire from her home. In 1995, Ndhlukula launched SECURICO with a handful of guards working from her home. She saw a gap in a market dominated by men who doubted her. She didn't argue. She just outworked everyone. Today, SECURICO employs thousands. It is Zimbabwe's largest private security firm. In a sector that had never seen a black woman at the top, she became the top. Estimated asset base, $400 to $800 million. Number 4. Fuel pipelines, gold mines, and billions in controversy. Kudakwashe Tagwirei, possibly the most powerful businessman in Zimbabwe today. Tagwirei's Secunda holdings became central to Zimbabwe's fuel supply chain, with reported links to Trafigura. He financed the government's Command Agriculture program. He holds stakes in gold and platinum mining. Reported worth 400 million towards ADT of $1 billion. In 2020, the U.S. Treasury's OFAC placed Tagwirei on its sanctions list, alleging corruption and links to political elites. The UK followed. He denied any wrongdoing. The legal and diplomatic processes remain ongoing. Number 3. A young economist who looked at Zimbabwe's banking sector and saw something no one else did. Nigel Chanakira, the pioneer. In the early 1990s, Zimbabwe's financial sector was still largely out of reach for black entrepreneurs. Chanakira founded Kingdom Financial Holdings, banking, asset management, stockbroking, all under one indigenous black-owned roof. He listed it on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. His fortune at its peak made him one of Zimbabwe's wealthiest men. But Chanakira chose a different path. Today, he is a devout Christian minister and philanthropist, proof that legacy is not just about wealth. Number 2, a tobacco trader who built a global empire and became one of Africa's most scrutinized businessmen, John Bredenkamp. Bredenkamp built Kasali into one of the world's largest independent tobacco leaf trading companies. Zimbabwe was the world's finest tobacco producer, and he sat at the heart of that trade. Forbes once reported him worth as much as $1.6 billion. He diversified into sports marketing, representing rugby stars globally through Masters International, and into aviation. He was placed on EU and US sanctions lists over alleged ties to the Mugabe government. He was later delisted and denied all wrongdoing. He died in 2020. 9 men. Extraordinary fortunes. But one name stands above all of them. One man who did something no one in Zimbabwe had ever done before, and changed the entire continent. Number 1. Strive Masiyiwa, Zimbabwe's first, and for years, its only billionaire. In 1993, Masiyiwa applied for a mobile network license. The government refused. He fought them, all the way to the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe. The battle lasted 5 years. His family nearly lost everything. In 1998, the Supreme Court ruled in his favor. The state telecom monopoly was broken. Econet Wireless launched. Within years, it had millions of subscribers across Zimbabwe, and the continent was watching. Econet became EcoCash, transforming how millions of Africans send money. Then Cassava Smartech, then Liquid Intelligent Technologies, one of Africa's largest fiber optic networks, from Zimbabwe to 20 countries. At his peak, Masiyiwa was reported to be worth $1.5 to $2.7 billion, according to Forbes, Zimbabwe's first billionaire, and one of only a handful of African-born tech billionaires in the world. He has funded more than 250,000 scholarships for African children. He sits on the boards of Netflix, National Geographic, and the Rockefeller Foundation. He is based in London, but his heart never left Zimbabwe. 10 stories, 10 mechanisms. Some built empires that outlived them. Some lost everything. One changed a continent, but every single one of them bet on Zimbabwe when the world told them not to. Who surprised you the most? Was it divine Ndhlukula's security empire? Masiyiwa's 5-year courtroom fight? Or is there a Zimbabwean billionaire you think we missed? Drop them in the comments right now. The next Zimbabwean billionaire is alive right now. Maybe building in Harare, maybe coding an app, maybe farming the low veld. The tradition of audacious Zimbabwean ambition, it is not finished. Legends of Africa, untold stories, unmatched pride. If this video moved you, subscribe. Not for us, for the stories that deserve to be told. And if you want the story of Africa's greatest empires, the ones that ruled before colonization, watch this video next. Your history is richer than you were taught.